How's everyone's morning going? Definitely feel free to use the chat, say hi, ask any questions today as we talk about frequency wars. And thank you guys again for joining today's live session. And today I decided to talk about frequency wars because I feel like right now we are in a final test of our consciousness to see how much willpower we have in creating our desired reality as we are tested with all these different forms of frequencies, especially lower states of consciousness that we attract or either choose to experience, determining on our focus and our concentration. So I think this is a very important topic to consider, considering all the headlines, the news, the stories we tell each other, the experiences that we all are sharing in today's time, that to understand the quantum field or quantum mechanics is super beneficial, super powerful at this time because it's proving spiritual knowledge in a scientific way based on energy, based on what I like to learn in quantum physics that has been translated in shamanism as the unseen world, or the art of dreaming, or the second attention, where your focus instead from looking out into the physical world is directed to your internal world, because you already know that your outer world is an expression of what you entertain inside of you, your internal world. So by understanding frequencies, uh, you can better understand how to change your outer world because it only involves changing what you focus on inside of you, your internal world. So everything that we learn about ourselves can be understood by just looking at your reality, looking at what everyone is telling you, what you think and feel about yourself. And this is the importance of spiritual work, because in order for anything to change on the outside, you have to understand frequency, vibration, and your energy. There is no other way to change the outer world individually and collectively. So I always like to interpret your outer reality coming from inside of you, no matter how great or awful or bad or interesting as it might be, it's all coming from inside of you. And this is what I appreciate about spiritual knowledge and work, because it is an instant feedback of what's going on inside of you. And the higher you raise your consciousness, the more that you're able to become aware of your own frequency and how to change it. Because every experience that you have, people, places, things, times, and events are created by you. And I know at first, when you get into all this spiritual information and knowledge, it's really hard to comprehend that you're that powerful. But it's only due to what I call mind control, where your ego's control over you due to certain thoughts, behaviors, and habits, that you can't see beyond the limitations that we inherit as a human being. So I really, really think this information is powerful in terms of reawakening your own willpower, because that is the only way out of the limited inherited AI ego construct that we experience as a human. And you have to understand that, like, no matter what we experience in this physical world, that it's not really physical. And I know that sounds pretty far-fetched or a little out there for people that new to this information, but you have to understand that the physical operates on frequencies, on energy. It is energy condensed down, then that turns into matter. So you have to think of frequencies, it's like a waveform, but then when it comes into the third dimension, it then becomes matter. So that's how you understand quantum physics from a spiritual point of view, by understanding the unseen world more than the seen world, because everything has a vibration. Your thoughts, emotions, the environments, and even the media, even what you consume on a daily basis. So you have to think of everything on the outside you're consuming, but in the way you're consuming your own frequency. It's telling you where you're at, rather than something concrete and unchangeable. So you have to understand this battle is not external because, oh, excuse me, it's about the frequency that you choose to experience. It's about your choice. There's nothing else that is involved in creating the reality that you desire to experience because you choose it. And you're only unaware of the negative aspects of what you're experiencing because of your unawareness of your internal world. And until you wake up to that, wake up to the patterns, the habits, the thoughts and beliefs they have that don't serve you, you'll be continued to feel and experience that in your external world because it is your frequency. It is telling you who you are. And all the people in your life are just messengers reflecting back what you think you are. And I think that's really powerful because then you can't see the separation or the lack of love that you experience as people outside of you telling you how you think about yourself. Because no matter how painful it might be or how honest and truthful, you can't deny the fact that they're just messengers. They're just telling you what you repeat to yourself habitually from thoughts and beliefs. And the lower frequencies of, let's say, fear, anger, hate, jealousy, betrayal, division, versus high frequencies of love, awareness, connection, abundance, unconditional love, sovereignty, that is what this battle that we are all experiencing right now is a test of your consciousness. Do you become aware and focus on the frequencies and the reality that you only want to experience? Or do you want to be continually consuming these lower negative frequencies that then create more unawareness and ignorance of your own potential and your power? Because that is what this reality is all about. This is a school of consciousness, how to break free from your unlimited consciousness, unlimited state of being that interacts and experiences a limited reality, to then remember who you are, remember how unlimited you are. And so this true war is not about anything else than our consciousness and our attention, our focus. It is only showing us a mirror of what we resonate with. And that's what's testing you. Do you want to continue experiencing the same loop, the same pattern of thoughts and beliefs? Or can you change that with your willpower to desire a more abundant, unlimited reality where you can experience whatever you desire to experience? And everyone's being tested because all the energy right now is either focusing the good or the bad inside of you, and both. So whatever you're experiencing is because it's showing you where you're at. It's showing you if you're conditioned or if you're starting to become aware and uncondition yourself from this limited ego mind of negative thoughts, negative beliefs, negative experiences to limit your energy. And we'll be continued to kind of experience that until we awaken collectively, because then that will start to shift as we are all kind of experiencing now. The corruption that we're being exposed to in government is because it's showing us the inner corruption that a lot of us are realizing within. And that's about the inner corruption that you don't believe in yourself. You doubt yourself. You believe in lack. You don't believe that you're whole and perfect already, or that you're broken, because you aren't broken. It's just like, you have to imagine that, let's say, a reality is a lens, and a lot of people have lenses on, they're kind of cracked, kind of broken. So they see and perceive reality in a broken, limited way. When all you have to do is realize that your perception, it just has to be cleaned, repaired, and fixed. So you can see things in a more pure, whole, complete way, because you're only going to see what's based on your inner perception and your inner thoughts and beliefs. So the true war is about your attention. And the external world is just a mirror testing what you choose to resonate with. So you have a choice every day to choose positive or negative, and know that you're already whole. And the only things keeping your reality from seeing that wholeness is your perception, a broken lens of your own state of consciousness. And this is why it's really hard to realize that, because that's what truly is called the dark night of the soul. When you realize all the different ways that you've limited yourself, You've believed in lack. You've allowed negativity. You've allowed certain thoughts or just thoughts and habits and beliefs to limit your experience of reality. And so the only way to win right now is to realize that you are in a test, that this is a test of your willpower to go beyond these lower states of frequencies and being. And that is how you win this game. It's not to battle these lower frequencies, to be contradicting, because that is just showing your polarity. If you want to argue about a certain headline or statement or stance, you're really only arguing and kind of like defending a lower state of being and a frequency. So when you kind of choose to battle that, you're already continuing to fight because it's showing your polarity. And so if you want to get out of this war, get out of that polarity experience of reality, is to just choose the positive. That's why I always say choose positive, no matter where you are in life, because that'll get you out of this lower state of being that's under the heart, where all physical illness and disease stems from. Because when you live in the heart, you stop aging, you stop believing in lack, you see abundance everywhere, you see your co-connection, you see your connection with everyone outside of you. Even if it's good and bad, they're just messengers. So you can't necessarily despise what your messengers are telling you, because they're just telling you your own state of consciousness and being. And so that's why I always say, like, don't continue to defend a lower state of consciousness and frequency. Just choose the opposite, choose the positive. And those who really, really understand this will make navigating reality so easy for you, because then you won't be absorbed by the chaos. You won't believe in anything negative. And this is how you win this test, not by defeating, conquering, or believing that there's anything to fight. You win by just choosing your desire. Don't get plugged into the matrix by believing in these headlines and these negative states of being. So I hope this makes sense. Let me know if you guys have any questions in the chat, or if there's anything else that you want me to talk about. But this is really about understanding this frequency war, why we're in this test, and the power of choice. So remember, this is a willpower test, because your consciousness is willpower, is internal personal power. And you get to choose the reality that you decide. And every trigger, and every challenge in fear-based narrative is a test of where you align. So do you believe in fear in your life? Do you believe that we have to experience negative limiting realities? Or are those only presented to us to remind us of how powerful we are? Because that's the shift that you have to take, and understand that these triggers and challenges that you're being faced with, you can either act like a victim to them, or you can raise above it and choose a different frequency where that doesn't exist. It's all about choice, and all about what you choose to align with. And so we react in fear, or we respond in a more pure place of being, where you know that you get to choose whatever reality that you want. So these lower systems, this lower reality, thrive on keeping people in these lower states: stress, confusion, depression, dependency, and fear. So when you choose to believe in those realities, those headlines, you're basically choosing to keep this system going. You're choosing to continue to be programmed, to continue to depend on something outside of you, determine your emotional state. So choose to just disconnect from all these lower frequencies and go within. Ask yourself, what do I want to do with my life? What do I really want? What do I really want to experience with people, places, things, times, and events? So really, really realize that you have that power, and any disbelief in your power is your programming. You have to disconnect from that to realize that it's not real. You are the creator of your reality, and there's nothing outside of you that will take that away from you unless you choose it. Remember, everything is about choice. So this is how we understand true mastery is by choosing higher awareness, no matter what the external forces upon us. That's why COVID was such a huge test for us because, a lot of people called it a harvest of energy because it is when these lower frequencies come in and these parasites, these lower demonic entities feed off of that energy when we start to believe in that. But really, it was a test for us to see, do you choose to believe in this negative lower state of reality and being, or do you choose something else? Are you willing to stand up against the complete narrative, against everyone, and say no? Because that is what the heart does. It chooses what's right over what everyone else blindly accepts. And that is the difference between a reality of unlimited potential and freedom versus a reality where people choose to limit themselves. And with the media technology and the social manipulation that we all experience, those were all choices. And so whatever you put your attention to, you're choosing that instead of a higher state of being. And so everything is programmed to keep us at a lower frequency, from the music, TV, social media, and especially the news, especially when you're unaware of yourself. Because if you are aware of yourself, all that will just be easy to identify and see comically because you're understanding the purpose of this reality. Because everyone knows this fear-based content lowers your vibration and frequency. It is designed to keep you powerless. So the more that you accept and choose into those headlines, there's that fear-based content, you're choosing to become more powerless. Choose to be powerful. Choose to create the reality that brings you joy and happiness by imagining it. Use your willpower to stop yourself. Recognize the habits that you entertain within and replace it with the ones that you want to experience. And at first, it's hard to do that because you're programmed into a locked neural net of that limitation. So it takes it. That's why in a lot of mystery schools, sometimes it takes people 20 to 40 years to detach from that ego programming. And and that's at a mystery school where they tell you the honest truth about what state you're at and how much work that you need to do in order to free yourself of this negative ego construct. But this reality is a lot easier to transcend once you're aware of this ego and the purpose of this reality, because it takes so much. It's very easy to traumatize yourself. It's even harder to build yourself back up again. So understand that every day you choose what you experience. So choose the ones that bring you bliss and joy, because everything else will continue to feed you the opposite until you become aware. And so the more aware that of what you consume, the more that you'll attune to that reality. So when you're consuming something, realize and understand what state of consciousness you're embodying, because you can still watch a horror movie and see like for me, I can still watch a horror movie, see the symbolism and get excited because I understand the power of creativity. But then some people can watch a horror movie, it lowers their vibration, and then they're terrified to go into the water, like after watching Jaws. So there's certain things like that you need to see it as more of a test and experience rather than choosing a fear-based reality. It's all about choice. And so the antidote to all of this is that you have to, whenever you choose to be aware, you have energetic protection from all these lower states of being and frequencies, because you know that you're choosing to consume a lower state in frequency at that moment, or you can just observe it. So there's that awareness that you need. That's the antidote to all of this, to all the news, to propaganda, to all the food you consume, whether it be processed or not processed. Like my teacher, I remember when I first met her, she was drinking Coke, and everyone's like, why do you drink Coke if you're like all about higher frequencies? And to her, she she said, this is bliss. This is uh joy. So like it's still your choice. And everything in moderation is key. If you overconsume something, you over indulge in something, especially your own thoughts, you're just draining your energy. So like know that you can experience all these different choices, but again, it's how you consume it. And so you have you have to become aware of your ego versus your higher self. There's this limited experience you can have, or this abundant experience you can have, because the ego thrives on identifying with lower experiences, drama, and control. And the higher self knows that everything is just an experience, it's just a choice. That's the separation, is that you identify with the suffering, or you realize and are aware that it's just a choice. And so that is the biggest challenge, is to rise above the ego's programming and the need to engage in a battle, to need to engage in being right or controlling a conversation, when all you need to do is just be aware of it and be like, that's their choice to experience that frequency. And my choice is to either tell them of the awareness that they are choosing that and just walk away, because it's everyone's choice right now. And once you master your own frequency, the external forces lose all their power. There's nothing that they can do to limit your energy, to limit your life force. And that's the key in understanding this frequency battle. Because once you understand there's a battle, and the only way, the antidote to win, is to step away and not fight. Choose your own reality. And that's it. Because if you continue to thrive on that ego's need to engage in a battle, you're going to lose. Because like all polarity, there's a winner and a loser. And one time out of two, you're going to lose. So there's always a 50% chance where your ego is going to definitely be tested, and you're gonna lose. And that's the whole point of spiritual advancement, is to lose. You have to lose in order to ascend. It's like the beginning is the end, or the end is the beginning. And you don't realize that until you're fully in your higher self, because the ego will continue to want to battle others and be right. And so the energetic way to become sovereign is to protect and elevate your frequency. Awareness is your first step. Become aware of the frequencies that you entertain, that you naturally, habitually think about, and then recognize that's something that's pulling you into lower states. And master your emotional state. Whenever you feel those negative states occurring, disconnect from it, because that is going to continue to experience in your reality. Do not let fear dictate your reality, because it isn't real. What you need to realize when you're operating from your higher state, when you feel the sense of fear, know that you're allowing a foreign entity into your body. Fear is a foreign entity. It's not real. It's your body telling you you're focusing on something that's not real. It's limiting your experience, your ability to create a reality that you are in love with. So don't let fear ruin your life, ruin your emotional state or your frequency. And then use high frequency tools, meditation, breath work, music, exercise, nature, and most importantly, your intention. These are the most important high frequency tools that you can learn right now to keep your state of being in a place that's protected, and that you'll never experience these lower frequencies like illness. I've never gotten COVID, never gotten sick during this entire time. And I've been around people that have been sick, and I've never been, because I understand that whatever you choose as a frequency, you'll experience in reality. You have to be in a state where that doesn't exist. Be in a state where you're abundant, you have tons of energy, you're always creative. Every conversation you have is a collaborative exchange of energy and frequencies rather than someone battling with you to believe in a concept. Just disconnect from it. No matter who presents it to you, just be like, that's your choice, your battle that you want to experience. I choose to just focus on what I want, what I desire in my life, and what my soul wants to express. So those are the biggest tools to use right now to keep yourself at a high frequency. Remember, that is meditation, breath work, music, nature, and most importantly, your intention. So you have to detach from narratives that are designed to lower your power. And notice that those are scripts that you've allowed and chose in your own consciousness that then you need to exercise your willpower to go beyond them. And remember, we are co-creating reality together. So everything that we experience outside of us in terms of politics and news is a reflection of our collective frequency. Our vibration is translated into the co-collective reality. So the collective shifts that we experience on the outside, first work on your individual experience. Disconnect from all the headlines, all the news, anything that you don't resonate with, because it's holding you back from higher frequencies. And your frequency is either feeding those continued fear-based narratives, or they're creating higher timelines. You get to choose. You get to choose the experience collectively when you work on yourself individually. So if you want joy and happiness for your family, your friends, work on yourself. Work on changing your negative state of being to a positive one. That is the only way to protect the people that you love and you care about, by doing that for yourself first. So this is so important right now, because I feel like if people really want the best for everyone, you have to want the best for yourself by disconnecting from these lower frequencies. And that's the only way the collective experience will get better. It's common sense when you understand this quantum frequency war in your own frequency. And you have to realize that it's all an illusion anyway, that reality isn't necessarily real, because it is shapeable and moldable by the state of consciousness that you are choosing in frequency. It operates on that illusion. It only works when you believe in it. So if you believe in a headline that says, fear this, new bird flu, blah, 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 you're choosing to experience that frequency. When instead you could just disconnect and be like, what do I want to do today? What would make me extremely happy? What could I do to make my friends and family happy? Like, choose positive frequencies. And that's all you experience in collective reality. And I can only speak of that from my experience, because during all of this, all the chaos of everyone's fear, when I was living in Brooklyn, I just chose to disconnect. And it might disrupt your nervous system in a very chaotic and uncomfortable way. But in the end, it'll balance your nervous system. So no matter what fear-based environment that you're walking into, you can just laugh at it. You can have a nervous system that just is always in a state of peace and bliss, because that is the choice of the frequency that you desire to experience, that's beyond any limitation. So when you detach from those narratives, your frequency will go up naturally, because they're meant to lower it. And as you shift internally, the external world will be then forced to follow. This is a law of the universe. I don't know why people don't understand the law of attraction more as a law, because your internal world determines the outer world. That's a law. So anyone that argues with that, you're going against a law of the universe. And if you want to continue to argue it, that's your choice, because then you'll experience the negative. So again, there's nothing I can do for you except provide this information that you get to choose the reality you experience based on your frequency. And so as you elevate, the more tests will appear, especially from the people close to you, your friends, family, people you work with, because it's all a test. Are you going to allow them to lower your frequency, or are you just going to choose to live the way that you want to live, and then they'll follow you? You have to be a leader of frequency in order to change the outside. You can't fight people's choices because that's their choice. The only thing you can do is be like, cool, that's your choice. I respect you. And I'm going to live my life in a higher frequency. And once they realize that, they'll start to change and want to shift with you. And remember the people and the circumstances, and even unseen entities will challenge your frequency. I cannot emphasize this more or enough, because lately I've been tested. My frequency has been tested from my job, from clients, from even my girlfriend, and even my friends, to test what do I really want in life, and be tested in ways that are triggering, but also allowing me to realize that this is still choices that I allow in my field. They're just like I said, the messengers telling me how I think about myself. So once I realize that these tests are appearing for me to remember and choose what I want to, it's a little easier to navigate and manage. And the war that I experience from a personal level is due to the fear that I entertain within myself. So remember, this is a fear game. And the only way out of it is to realize that fear is not real and that you can choose. Because as you shift internally, everything will be forced to follow. So you level up by not reacting. The moment you master neutrality, you ascend. So remember, neutrality is the goal, the key. And remember, nothing is a punishment. They are just messengers telling you who you think you are. And that's the refinement that we all need to take when you undergo challenges from people, places, and circumstances. So I want to end this video. I know I went a little over, but thank you guys again for watching this. If you have any questions, I know there's only a handful of you, but thank you again so much for watching and supporting my channel. And I hope you enjoy this kind of content to remind you of how powerful you are and how to navigate your reality. So these are some practical ways that I want to end. I want to end this video to give you some practical tools and tips to strengthen your frequency daily. So again, these are practical ways to control and strengthen your frequency daily. So in the morning, align yourself by setting your energy. Know what you want to feel today. Know what frequency that you're going to be attuned with in the morning as soon as you wake up. 2, cut off anything low vibration. Just cut it off. I use the scene in Lord of the Rings. I think it's a deleted scene where Aragorn, they're noticing that there's an entity saying all this negative stuff about Frodo and the ring. And in the scene, he just cuts his head off and says, no, I do not believe it. That is the willpower that you need to cut off anything low vibrational as an influence. Cut its head off. Don't believe it. That's what I do visually to help keep myself and discipline myself in a higher frequency. So you have to be selective with the people, the media, and the thoughts you have. Most importantly, the thoughts. And I practice presence, staying in the now, not having thoughts determine my state of consciousness. So stay in the now. Be aware of your breath. Listen to it in the moment. Feel the heartbeat in your heart. Realize the things that you love. Know that the past and future aren't real, just like fear. They're just illusions to keep you from the present moment, from a higher frequency. And know that you have the choice, that you create your reality, making choices based on truth and not fear. Know that you are the creator of your reality. Do not allow anything less than that in your mindset, and you'll experience a higher dimension and a higher level of reality based on that knowingness. And I call this, in the last step, I call this energetic hygiene. And that is using meditation, sun, water, and grounding techniques to keep a mental, spiritual hygiene that is pure, that is full of belief, willpower, and strength, and knowledge that you can accomplish anything that you put your mindset to. That is the spiritual hygiene that you must practice on a daily basis. Same thing with washing your hair, taking a shower, brushing your teeth. Do that so your spiritual being, your energy body. Remove anything that doesn't make you feel pure, whole, and blissful. That's the hygiene that I am speaking of, and I use to keep myself in a pure state, in a pure state of being. And the final thought is that this war is already won when you choose to involve yourself in a higher frequency. If you are, first of all, is when you're aware of this frequency war, you have already won half the battle, because most of the battles moving forward, you don't even need to fight because you're choosing something better. And the only thing that I want to leave with you is that hold your higher state of being no matter what happens. This is what you see in scenes in films and movies where someone's just talking negatively about someone, and you could neither choose to fight it, to keep battling it, or walk away. Like a scene in Man of Steel and Superman where this drunken bar guy is throwing his beer at him and talking negatively about him. But once you know your power and your strength, you just walk away. You don't lower yourself to those lower states of being and frequencies, because you already know that engaging in that is losing. So keep your state of being high and do not allow lower states to affect you. Because the true freedom is always knowing that you're never trapped, that nothing can control you. That is the whole purpose of this reality, to control us. And once you realize that, and the power that you have to choose your own frequency, you've already won. You've already won. That's how simple it is. But everything is made to complicate you and trick you into believing that it's not. So be the signal, not the receiver, and lead the frequency shift of your desired reality, and that everything else will follow. So I want to thank you guys again for watching this video, for supporting my work on 58. And if you continue and like this knowledge, subscribe, share with your friends, family, and tell others more about leading with your frequency. That's the most important thing to take away from this time, to lead by example, to know that your happiness, joy, abundance, and frequency of that state of consciousness will change the world. And that's all you have to do. So I will continue to support where everyone is at and continue to remind people about the power that you have by understanding your own emotional frequency. And thank you guys again. So remember, this is a part of my 58 membership. I have weekly guided meditations to help you keep at a higher state of being and frequency. That's on every Wednesday. And every Sunday, I will do these free bi-weekly live sessions and continue to do private sessions for people that want a more customizable experience of transforming your reality that's done in a simple, practical, and almost instantaneous transformation, because it's the simplest tools to help you understand this complex and confusing reality at this time. So again, thank you guys again so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a beautiful and wonderful day.